Hey, David Breslow back here with you, and today I want to talk about something that rarely gets spoken about with golfers, and it's about recovery. Now when I say recovery, I don't mean on the golf course. You get a lot of information about that, bouncing back after bad shots and so on and so forth. I'm talking about after a round of golf. When I interview golfers, here's the tendency. What I hear the most is when they don't play a good round of golf or not up to what they believe they should be playing, what's the first thing they do? They run over to the driving range and they hit more balls and they try to work out the kinks. Whatever the mechanical stuff that they thought was breaking down, they go to the driving range and start hitting the ball. And they start to hit more balls and more balls and more balls until they get the feel that they want and they get the rhythm that they want and they get the kinks worked out, and then they feel pretty satisfied. But there's a big problem with that, in my opinion. Because when you really understand what a mental game is, and those of you who've been listening to me for a while are getting it, I know you are, that it's all connected. The mind, body, and the emotions are all connected. You can't separate them. So if you are playing a round of golf and you're not that satisfied with it, and the first thing you do is run to the range because you're thinking mechanics. This is what most people do. They think mechanics first. Remember, it's all connected. Normally when mechanics break down on the golf course, it's because they broke down inside first. I've mentioned this before in several videos. The inner game is a direct result of an influence on the outer game. And let me rephrase that. The outer game is a direct result of what's going on your inner game. So, when you go to the driving range, here's a strategy for you. Instead of looking at the mechanics right away, like the majority do, ask yourself a question. Ask yourself, what was I thinking during the round today? Or if there's a specific situation that you weren't very happy with, what was I thinking about just before hitting that particular shot? That putt, or that wedge, or that approach shot, or that drive, whatever it was for you. Ask yourself what you were thinking. Don't run right to the mechanics first. I'm not saying mechanics aren't important. Please don't hear that. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they're connected. That if your mechanics broke down, chances are really good that they broke down because of a breakdown in here first. So when you go to the range to try to work it out up here first. Get clear. What was it I was thinking in that moment? How was I feeling in that moment? Ask yourself those two important questions. What was I thinking? How was I feeling? Because everything is so connected and you can't get away from it. I'm sorry, you just can't. I didn't make it up. It's the way all human beings are made. So, since you can't get away from it, why don't you be smart? Instead of running right to the mechanics like most people do and go, oh, where was my elbow? Or where was my hand? Or how was my setup? That's all fine. But take a look here first. Look inside first, because the inside is the catalyst for the outside. Inside is the catalyst for the outside. So check in and ask those questions. What was I thinking during that shot, or over that ball, or just before that shot? How was I feeling? Chances are you're going to come up with things like, oh, yeah, you know what, I didn't even realize it, but I was thinking kind of negatively there, or I was thinking about an old memory on this particular shot in the same place that I had on this course 2 weeks ago. All of a sudden, these things are going to start creeping in, and you're going to be much more aware of all these really little subtle, but very insidious thoughts and feelings. Because if you now get to uncover those thoughts, now you're going to understand that, oh, how was I feeling? I was feeling a little anxious, feeling a little uptight, and now your body's going to be involved. Your body gets tight. Your thoughts are tight, your body is tight. Then the mechanic broke down, your elbow broke down, something you've been working on for weeks with your favorite pro, and you're doing it right most of the time. But what I'm telling you is, when it breaks down, please look in here first. Then you can start to see the trail. There's a nice little trail going on there. Breaks down in here, mentally, then emotionally, and then physically. Now you can start to take care of that mechanical area that you've really been working on. Really think about this. It's very, very important. I've had golfers that I've talked to and worked with have saved themselves a lot of heartache and a lot of going over the same thing time and time and time again when they actually started to understand that, oh, wait a minute. It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I underperformed today. I know I can play better. Okay, great. Go to the range, work it out. But don't start only with the mechanics. Work it out here, and you start to see a nice little trail going on. Oh, this happened upstairs in my mind, this happened in my body with my emotion, and then this happened in my body with the tension level that I had and the anxiety level I had. Oh, and then I took that really bad swing on that shot. Wow. Now Now you're really getting it. So next time you go to the range, take a look at the sequence, check inside first, then check the outside, and watch how that sequence is really connected. Dave Breslow, glad to be with you again. Once again, please leave a note here. Would love to hear from you and get involved in a cyber chat with you. Also, come visit me at www.mentalgolfcoaching.com. Thanks again. Take care.